What is up, everybody? This is Jim from the Edge of Tech, also known as Nerdy J, right here on HotMakes. We are live all over the place. We got Facebook, YouTube, Twitch still. I still got to figure that out. We've been talking about that for months now. Twitch is out there. We have an awesome show for you tonight. We have just an awesome guest. We'll get to that in 1 second. Before we do, I'm going to rock and roll right through a few things. Number one, we have turned Geary off for the night. He needed a RAM upgrade, so we shut him down. Geary will not be with us tonight, so I'm running solo today. So bear with us there. If I don't drop comments up all the time, or heck, if I miss a banner, it's been a while. Geary usually runs that stuff. Also, we are, like I said, are live pretty much everywhere. We are rocking, rolling. I think on this channel, on the HotMakes channel, we are close to 800 subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the HotMakes channel, jump over there, hit that subscribe button. And if you're on any of the other channels, we welcome you to the YouTube on HotMakes channel as well. There is a link in the description below for the PayPals if you feel so inclined to shoot us over we'll call it a lightsaber fund today. Why not? I like that. So shoot us a donation for the lightsaber fund, however you want to do it. Abby Math says, my kids say they'll miss Geary. Hope the upgrade goes well. Me too. You know, Geary needed a small RAM upgrade. Take the night off. We had to shut him down, move him out of his Raspberry Pi to a slightly larger Nook. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Abby, by the way, I've been following the progress of printing. Like we had that talked about it 2 weeks ago now. About printing the little keychains, and it's awesome. People out there are printing them all over, and I love seeing the posts. We'll have to get you on maybe next week for an update. Let us know if you want to do that. Otherwise, we have everybody. Justin says, good news, the Rocky Mountain Rep Festival has a venue on hold for April 21st through 23rd, 2023. Congratulations, Justin. I know you and some other people have been working really hard. We'll definitely have to get you on and go over that soon. That would be awesome. Maybe at like the beginning of the year-ish when we have some more news and we can like get everybody fired up. It sounds like we're going to have a Rocky Mountain Rep Festival, hopefully near, if it's Rocky Mountains, I'm guessing Denver area, which will be super easy to fly into too. Other than that, Murph, Mitch Judy, Murph. I like it. I absolutely love it. We have an awesome guest today. I'm going to jump right in because with Geary not here, I could do whatever I want. He doesn't, he's not going to be pushing buttons behind the scenes on me, making me do hot makes at a certain time. We have a guest. We can talk all night. For an hour. We're going to talk for an hour. But ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure. Shane, all the way from Saberbay. How you doing, Shane?
How's it going, man? Thank you for having me. Hi to everyone on here. Bear with me. It's I'm new to all this, but I'm excited to be here.
Well, that's okay. That's what we love. We love talking to people about what they do, makers in the community. And I mean, I got to say, what you do is definitely considered a maker in the community. Before we get too far, how about like a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, my name's Shane. I have been in the custom lightsaber industry, started mainly as a hobbyist. I've been collecting sabers, I would say since before The Force Awakens. So, gosh, I can't even, 6 years. And then I started doing my own installs. I started customizing my own stuff. And now, and there's a whole lot of in between, but now I run Saberbay, which is mainly a kind of like a online retail for all stuff DIY saber related. We sell electronics, we sell hilts, we sell blades, 3D printed items. The list goes on and on. But yeah, I've been running Saberbay for quite a while now, and honestly, I love it. So
that's awesome. And for those out there who might not know what Saberbay does, you just kind of went over. You sell like all the custom cool stuff. Yep. And I'm going to pop this up on stream just because I can. So this is a quick, this is Facebook. And this is just some of the stuff that you guys thrown out there. I think this is
Oh,
something new that's coming, right? That's what this is.
Yeah, so that is the Republic Commando. We call it the Republic Commando because so this saber, it's on a pre-order. It's in production right now. That's based off of, I don't know if any of you guys played the actual Republic Commando game on Xbox back in, gosh, I want to say maybe 2007. It's pretty old. It was actually from the designer, my engineer, James. He wanted to make this. This is one of his favorite games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is just one of the many hilts that we have coming out. And I've actually got it right here. This is the same one. And yeah,
you said you got it right there. Can we get a sneak peek?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
actually, let me see if I have the electronics turned on. If not, I can pop them out. So everything like about this, what Saberbay does, we have shops overseas. This is all full CNC machined, aluminum. We actually have real parts of copper and brass, and I hope this is turned on. Yep.
Oh,
there we go.
Man.
So electronics are fully done inside. I installed this myself. I'm also an installer. And just kind of volume warning, it is a little bit loud.
Nice. So is that NeoPixel then?
Before I have too much fun here.
So is that a NeoPixel?
Yeah. Sorry, let me do one more little example. I didn't put a blade in it. I had one here though, okay. So I've got a full set of props here.
I got one sitting right here. I got a, I don't have a blade, but here's one. I love it.
Yeah, this is with a blade in it. Let's see how it looks.
That is just awesome. I love it. It's so good.
Never stops being cool, that's for sure. No matter how many times you turn it on.
I see the proud Sith Lord sign up on the wall. Yeah. I approve. That's got
a backstory too, actually. So that's yeah, that's funny.
Wait, they're not sabers. Yeah, they are.
That sign. So that sign is it's my Sith Lord Sabers sign. That's actually we'll call it my original company I started with, Sith Lord Sabers.
Oh, nice.
Before I took over Saberbay, I started that business beforehand. And yeah, so I kind of do both, but mainly Saberbay is my main thing now. Yeah, so all these designs.
This is another new one, right? That's in pre-order.
Not pre-order yet. So this was actually a really cool kind of idea that, again, my designer wanted to do. So we hosted sort of a submit your own saber design contest.
Ooh.
And so we had like customers, and not even customer, just people like, so that right there, we had someone else actually submit that as a design. And then we sort of chose like the final like 3 or 4, and then members like of our community and our group, they actually voted on the one that they liked the most. And awesome. So that was the winning design. And so for the designer, they get a free saber.
That's
they
awesome.
get to name it. They get full design credit, and then we're going to actually make a run of their design for other people to hopefully enjoy.
That's so cool. I love that idea. I love the idea of like something original. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the original Star Wars sabers in the movies, but like the idea that someone says, I think I could design one in my head, like I think that's cool. I think I watched Adam Savage make his own maybe a couple months ago or something. He came up with one that he manufactured himself. And did
you catch the electronics to use for that?
What was that?
Did you catch the electronics that he used on the inside for that saber? Because that also came from us. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I think that was a Saberbay, like a chassis that you made, right?
Yep.
That's so good.
Yeah, I actually got I got another prop here. I told you I came prepared.
That's perfect. I love it. And it's super cool. And maybe, like, does he just reach out and say, hey, I'm going to build something. I need a chassis so
that really kind of started with, so the original owner of Saberbay, his name's Justin Marshall. Okay. His dream was always to work with, Adam Savage and do
Sure.
stuff, with him on Tested. So that contact really, that was all him. And when he kind of
Nice.
first brought the idea up, because I had this idea to make these cores right here. They're essentially just like an all-in-one, kind of, we'll say like a universal
Sure.
thing that you can put in a lot of different sabers. And so when I had this idea and finally finished it, Justin asked me, he's like, "Hey, I am in touch with Adam Savage. Like, do you think we can give him one to use?"
Nice.
And of course, I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, Adam Savage."
Right.
Yeah. So this is kind of like what he used
I love it.
for his build.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just
And if
blinded
you haven't
myself.
seen that build, it is super cool. I know.
Sorry, these things get real loud.
Headphone warning. Headphone. No, I love it. And yeah, if you haven't seen Adam Savage's build, it's super cool. And it's so cool that you got to essentially, be a part of that build. And
Yeah, that was really neat.
he basically like took the dimensions right of your chassis and then built something around it, right?
Yeah, it was and there was really easy, I think, to work with, just because, and that was the point of making these, is they are simple. They're all like kind of a universal size. So the rest that he did, I mean, that was the art right there, is all the stuff he was able to, make by hand.
And that's what you're calling the pixel core, right?
Yeah. So we're calling that that's the pixel core.
This one.
Just one of those, call them like a gateway introductions into sabers. Just something that's a little more affordable, especially for like, first timers, people who want to kind of just test the waters a bit with sabers and not spend too much on things. I mean, it's a good option for sure.
I can tell you this from putting this together. This is what I have right now. I available.
Oh yeah,
to show.
It's a flagship.
Yeah, it's a flagship. And it's got the custom hilts on, or I'm sorry, the custom shrouds on there. But there's a tiny, and if anyone's watched the 9 hours of video that I have in 3 different episodes so far of this, I mean, there's a speaker on the bottom. It's gonna catch my face, and there's a tiny little board under here. And I was working with Christoph over there, and I tell you, it is 100% worth it if you're just starting out and you don't want to dive into a crazy project to buy one of these. 100%, or buy all the parts if you want. Send them to Chris to assemble, because
absolutely, and that's what those guys are for.
I mean, like, seriously, it's a lot of work, and I had a blast. I'm having a blast. We'll talk about that because this one's not quite working yet,
right?
But I love the idea of being able to have this. And the other cool thing about this is, if you had a few different hilts, could you not just drop this out, drop it in another hilt, and keep going?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, like, I bought, this hilt design, I've got 4 as of right now that are actually fully compatible, that I bought specifically for that purpose. But just kind of like what Adam Savage did, I mean, it's really not too hard just to kind of design something around it. I mean, you could do all kinds of things. And then, down in the pipeline, I asked my engineer, my designer guy, like, can build me my own product line, again, to support something like that, so people can mix and match parts, kind of give people that, like, kind of build your own experience, which I know is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I like that these have the USB-C port in them for charging. I love it. It's super simple. As far as, like, you don't have to go through the hours of trying to solder little tiny pads on the boards and all that. Even though, if you like doing that stuff, it's a lot of fun. So, just looking at this, it looks like there's a couple different boards you can choose from. Is that a Profi or Profi board?
Don't ask me how you're supposed to say that, because that could be a topic of debate. I say Profi. Some people say Profi. I mean,
got it.
Tomato.
And then what's the difference here between?
Profi, Profi is essentially like the ultimate open source board. And And Golden Harvest is more, I would say, just like it's plug and play. You can use it right out of the box. You can use Profi. It's
Right.
all set up like when you buy it, it's all ready to go.
Okay.
And the whole concept of the open source board is like there are really no limits other than like what you want to do with it. So
Got it.
it is a pretty deep rabbit hole. I don't go down that hole
Nice.
myself just because I like things simple. I'm pretty easily satisfied, but I mean, there are some pretty crazy things that people have done with Profi.
Well,
So,
I think this is a CFX board, if I remember right. The
CFX,
Crystal Effects. Yeah, the Crystal Effects.
That's actually my personal favorite. I have the most experience with those, so
Sure.
that's kind of my go-to.
So is the Golden Harvest like it is what it is? There's no customizing?
Oh no, and don't get me wrong, that you can do a lot of customization, but like some of the other boards like CFX, you have a set list of parameters, so you're operating within those dimensions, and so you can do whatever that board is designed to do, but that's it.
Gotcha.
Lots of options still, but Profi ultimately, I mean, it's got a big community of people who contribute to things, and
that's awesome.
I mean, that's why it's grown so popular.
Right. And it looks like it's a little bit more expensive. I'm assuming it's because it's just a more robust board that can do more, right?
Yeah. Cost definitely. Well, especially, with things kind of starting to normalize now with, post COVID, and the chip shortage definitely played a big part, in those prices, especially, for soundboards. Profis used to cost, I would say maybe like $40 back in the day.
Sure.
And then chip shortages, supply and demand, you got this huge imbalance. There's just not a lot going around, or not enough to supply the demand that people had. You think back in 2020 and what's everyone doing? Everyone's at home and they need something to do.
Right.
People were buying sabers like crazy back then. So that made the price go up, and now we're starting to finally see things kind of come back down to normal.
I think the Crystal Effects board, I was like $90, and I was just like super. I was like, man, I got to solder on this. I've never soldered really before that project, and wow, we'll just say wow. So it's super cool. You have this essentially universal hilt, right? I'm sorry, chassis that can go into multiple hilts, and the hilts aren't something to just like pass over either. You got some cool hilts that'll actually work with this. Let's pop that open here. There we go.
So there's a few different ones. I mean, I have different vendors I get stuff from. Like these ones, I'll be honest, I don't manufacture these myself, so I have different vendors. TXQ is a pretty big vendor who they offer so many things. If some people are familiar with like LGT, they're a pretty big distributor as well. So I asked them like, hey, I just need a few designs, like show me what you got, and then I just kind of picked a few that I liked.
And these are super reasonable as far as price goes. I think that there's $60 across the board here, plus shipping. And I mean, the flagship I think starts at like $100 without the shrouds and stuff on it. And I think these look just awesome. I absolutely love this one, by the way.
The Talon.
That looks awesome. Let me know in the chat. Right, I love that. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Just such a cool array of essentially it's still a custom saber. You're buying this, you're buying the chassis, you're putting it together. Don't forget, you have to buy the blade, right? So you got to get a blade. And if you're gonna buy it together, you might as well buy the blade together too, because pushing the LED strips through the foam, worst ever part of the whole build. That was not great. Speaking of Sergio, hey Sergio, I just saw a notification, $20. Thank you so much. He said, hope the upgrade goes good with Geary. Thank you so much, Sergio. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea that theoretically, is there any install? Like, is there anything that's permanent, or could you buy a couple of these and just
Oh yeah.
pop that chassis out, drop it in the next one, and go. Say it's 2 days of Comic-Con and you want 2 different sabers.
Yep. You can swap them around.
That's
Really.
so cool.
So the only thing, honestly, that holds this in place, and all you need, so there's just like a little screw on the back, right behind the button. So when you're messing with it, taking it off, it stays in place, doesn't make any movement. And then when you're ready to take it out, so let's say you're going to swap the battery, or like you said, you're going to put a different hilt, you just undo the screw, you pop it out, and then you just throw it in a new one.
That is awesome.
And they're all the same size, like internally. So that's part of the interchangeable aspect is
right. Well,
you don't have to buy.
You're not wiring the speaker, and you're not wiring everything up, and it's not set in place like the flagship here. And like many of the ones we do, right? The button holds this thing in place.
Yeah.
I mean, once this is in, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
I mean, you can pop it out and all this can come out, but
right.
You don't want to do that because you wired this in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's just such a cool idea. I love that idea. Not to mention, you have some new stuff coming, like we talked about. There's some, let's see, is that it? No, this one.
Man, there's been so much in the last few months. I could probably talk for well past this hour.
Yeah.
So I
mean, I was looking because you just put up the I believe it was the pre-order or the notification to pre-order soon. Maybe that's what it was.
So we've got some pre-orders, and so there's 2 pre-orders right now. There's the Republic Commando, and then there's also the newest one we just launched for pre-order it's called the Geonobi. I think if you scroll down a little bit down past all the products there's another highlighted pre-order. There it is. There. So name, of course, was fun to come up with, Geonobi. Another collaboration between Saberbay and Laredo Sabers. He's another pretty well-known designer in the saber community.
Awesome.
And Obi-Wan's saber, the one he uses in Attack of the Clones when he's at Geonosis fighting Dooku and all that. So that one's coming out. A lot of interest, a lot of support for that. So really excited for that one to get finished.
It's so cool to know that, like, and these are all like empty, right? These are empty hilts.
Yeah. So historically, I mean, Saberbay has been like more of a DIY supplier. So, you buy the hilt, you can buy the parts, and then you put it together yourself. And then recently, over the last couple of months, have been kind of tag teaming with installers that I know to start offering installed versions. Because so many people also they want an installed saber. They don't want to do it themselves. That's totally fine. Right. So all the hilts coming out, you can do it empty, you can get it installed, and just trying to cover as many.
And it's cool. It says this is going to come with the empty saber, 2 sets of emitter collars.
Yep.
One blade. One for blades and one for static use, and then you get the black anodized CoverTech wheel for belt hanging, that little clip on your belt.
Yep.
The matching hilt blade plug and a custom collector's box, and it looks something like that.
Yeah. So that's super also cool. Kind of what we decided to start doing, like for just for like the collectors and the whole experience. Not everyone cares about a box. But I mean, it's art, some people do like it, and it's part of the experience. So like everything comes with like a nice box.
It's really cool. And I love the idea that, you throw the belt clip on there on that particular one, and you through some of the extra stuff. And in this case, you can get it clean or you can get it weathered. That's pretty dang awesome. So cool. So I gotta say, like, if you guys have questions in the chat at all, throw them out there. I'm gonna try to catch them and get them put up there for Shane. How did all this start for you? Like, where did you decide? I love Star Wars. I need to make lightsabers or sell lightsaber parts. Right? Where'd that come from?
Oh man, gosh, it was a long time ago. Honestly, I didn't even start with lightsabers. I was looking for Christmas gifts maybe 6 years ago for my son. And, they, you know, they had a lot of the Black Series figures back then, and I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, you know, maybe he'll like these. So I bought some figures for my son, and he was only 4. And needless to say, he didn't care. He didn't like them. But I was like, man, these are really cool. Like, I love these action figures. Like, I love Star Wars. I, you know, started watching the Clone Wars series, so I was getting kind of hooked on that.
Right.
And then from there, and that's kind of where you start going down the rabbit hole. Black Series also offered lightsabers, like the ones you can buy at the store.
Sure.
And so I remember my first 2 official lightsabers was a Luke Skywalker and a Yoda,
Nice.
from the Black Series. And I am not kidding. I thought those were the coolest things on the planet. I really did. I mean, I wouldn't say that now, but back then, I mean, man, those are dang cool. And then I wanted more. I wanted to know, where can I get more sabers?
Right.
They didn't make a lot. They didn't make a lot of the ones for the Black Series. So then I, you know, go on Facebook and I start looking up custom lightsabers. And I find these groups. I find these Facebook groups with thousands of people, like 10,000 people in these groups. So I join, and I mean, you talk about learning a new language. It was insane, but it was addicting. Then you start buying one saber, and like kind of how I feel the way I do now. Like I started with something basic, you know, the equivalent of this. This was like my first saber. And then I started looking into like the more expensive ones, started kind of comparing, and it's like, wow, this is just so crazy. Like I need more and more and more. And then actually what got me into kind of wanting to do it for myself is, you know, I was paying people basically to do the installs. Like I would find a guy like, you know, Christoph, to do an install. And I had some bad experiences, and I was like, man, paid all this money and I didn't get what I paid for. I was like, how hard is it to do it yourself? So I started learning.
Right. It wasn't Christoph, right? It wasn't.
No. I don't even remember who it was, but that's kind of what led me to start learning. And then as you know, I did more, I got better. Then I started offering services, and one thing kind of led to another. And then, yeah, it's just, a lot of it is, you know, like within the saber community, a lot of it's word of mouth. So a lot of us, we know each other, you recognize names.
Right.
And so that's kind of how you build up essentially your own business, is, you know, through word of mouth, through reputation. So for a couple of years, I kept doing that. And I had a commission list, you know, 30 or 40 people long.
Right. That's
and
cool.
And that was, you know, that was a side gig. That wasn't my real job. And then, it was that way for a long time. I was like, man, I wonder if I could do this like for real, you know?
Right.
And then so one day I just finally was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that leap. Honestly, haven't looked back since. And so that's where Sith Lord Sabers comes from. That was my first kind of official business name. And I did installs, I did powder coating, I did chassis designs, and you know, made blades, just everything that you can think of for, you know, the custom commission side of things. And then I started building relationships with guys like Justin, who owns Saberbay.
Sure.
And started doing some stuff for him, kind of like assembling, you know, parts and things like that he needed help with. And we built a relationship back and forth. And then one day he's like, hey, I want to have a video call with you. And I was like, okay, sure. So just kind of hopped on like this. And he's like, so I am wanting to sell Saberbay. I was like,
wow.
Okay. And I wondered if you'd be interested. So that's pretty much how we got to where we are today. I mean, that was over a year ago.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been about 6 years total. But it's been great. Wouldn't trade it for anything, honestly. So.
It's such a cool, and it's a cool story. It's awesome. You know, how you it kind of all came together. You started your relationships and ended up, you know, taking over one of the businesses. Right. And
yeah.
I was just, while you were talking, I wanted to pause it here in a second. Found Adam Savage's video, and I'm just going to show just a second of,
oh yeah, for
just
sure,
a second of this. And so he used, you know, one of your one of your chassis,
Mhm.
and or the, the one that's all together. What was it called? The
Pixel Core.
Pixel car. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions before I do this. All right, good. Dark side. This is the way. Um, that's awesome. All right, here we go. Real quick. So this is towards the end of his video. He built this thing out of basically just stock, right? He builds this completely from the ground up.
So cool.
And he has your pixel core inside of this, which is amazing anyway, right? But he is so excited about this thing, and he just he's holding on to it, and the saber itself is awesome, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you kind of see, I mean, and the emotion.
Yeah.
We all kind of have that, like, as we're swinging it around and
Yeah.
playing with our sabers. I mean, you just can't really help but kind of feel like a kid, but
I can't wait. I can't wait till mine lights up like that. Mine, I got another one to build here, and I want this one to work, but hey, I might have to go on.
There's nothing like your first. I mean,
yeah,
when you first do all that yourself and it works and it lights up, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool feeling.
There you go. Got a little smoke behind it, but this is and that's essentially not the saber itself, because he manufactured that himself as like a one-off thing, right? But essentially, when you get one and you put it together using your pixel core and a blade, and I mean that's what it'll be like. It lights up like you showed us.
Yeah.
So cool, so cool.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of interchangeable. I mean that hits me, because like I said, maybe you're going to a Comic-Con or anything, right? And you want to be, today I want to hold this one, tomorrow I want to hold this one, and the idea behind having like multiple sabers but be able to swap out the electronics quick saves you so much money too. While it's cool to have two, it's cool to have two full ones. That's pretty dang awesome. But so you had a couple around you. What, do you have any more fun stuff laying next to you there? I think you had
I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot more props here.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
So another one that is not going to be available yet for pre-order because we're still waiting on some stuff. So this is Cal Kestis. I know we got some video game players, I'm sure, from the Jedi Fallen Order.
And he shall show up here.
Oh, what up? Sinister Props. I know that guy. So
shout out to Chris or Christoph for hooking us up, because he's like, Jim, you got to contact Shane. You got to get a hold of him to get on the show. So, all right, I didn't mean to cut you off. So what do you?
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, and I just want to also say thanks to Chris. Appreciate you, man, getting me on here. Yeah, Chris, he's been a pretty good guy to know in the community. We message back and forth about all kinds of stuff. Mainly it's when there's drama. There's drama in every community, and
Shane provided 90% of the props for my sabers. Well, thank you. There you go. See, I didn't even know that. He's like, listen, this is how much it'll cost. I'll get all the parts. I'll ship them to you. So I appreciate it. We were just talking about the 9 hours of video that are out there for stuff. But I think actually he jumped ship now. He's Halo, right? He's like full-time Master Chief.
I mean, I know that's been sort of his bread and butter is the props. Not just, I mean, I know when I first started kind of hearing about his shop, his Etsy store, I mean, it was from Mortal Kombat, making the masks, and I mean, just everything in the prop community that I'm not even aware of. I mean, I know that he would always tell me, like, dude, I'm so busy right now.
I love it.
I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Professional twerker. Oh, maybe stick to your other job.
We saw him on stage there. But all right. So you were saying you had what did you have with you?
Oh, sorry. So this is the Cal Kestis saber from it's based off the upcoming game, the new Jedi Fallen Order. So we got this one, and a lot of these are designed. I'll also give a shout out to my designer right now, James Wareham. He's from Jimmy's Saber Junk. You can find him on
Okay.
Instagram. He doesn't have a page, but he basically, and I wish I could show you guys some of the drawings. I mean, you would not believe the amount of technical drawings that go behind making a saber. If you guys are familiar with CAD or like any sort of technical drawings, like each piece is built from the ground up. So there's a lot that goes into it. So that's one example. Another one I think you guys may have seen in the previews. So this is a pretty unique saber. A lot of people don't know really, and it has kind of a funny shape to some people. But I mean, this
now that you
is
say that,
this is the called the Kurak saber. This one was based off of the Vader comics. So if we were to consider anything from those comics canon, this is technically Darth Vader's first lightsaber. You know, when he meets his Jedi, he doesn't have a saber, kills a Jedi, takes a saber. This one becomes his. So in my head canon, this is Vader's first saber. So this was pretty cool. This was a pain to make. It's not easy to make a curved CNC machined object.
That's pretty awesome.
And I got a few more things here. I mean, we've got some common character hilts. So this was another one. So we got a Qui-Gon Jinn hilt here. Lots of people I think know Qui-Gon. And we just saw him recently in the Tales of the Jedi series, which is really cool. This one was a collaboration. And there's all kinds of other small businesses and you know, self-employed individuals who help with these kind of things. Shadowfoil Props is the name of the designer for this. He made the design and then he basically gives it to me to manufacture. So I'll just give a quick shout out to him. These are our Qui-Gon hilts.
Nice.
And just as an example, like that, you know, you can get as an empty hilt, you can get it installed. So just whatever, you know, whatever your preference is. And then last but not least, I have my Obi-Wan saber here that I installed myself. Sorry, it's a little loud there. Volume warning. I apologize.
That's okay.
So also kind of cool things like about, you know, these soundboards and modern technology, especially things like Profi and all the other boards are starting to do them too. You don't really even need buttons all the time. So this can turn on with just a twist.
Oh,
you can
nice.
turn it off with a twist. So it's pretty crazy, just like what these things can do.
I saw one of the CFX boards. I think you can use like a magnetic ring.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, but I never saw the twist thing. That's pretty dang awesome.
Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, it never gets old. Really
well,
doesn't get old.
And there's all sorts of crazy stuff like I think like this right here, right? I mean, this is a staff.
Yeah. So that's another one. I don't have one of those to share, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
super cool though.
Yeah, that's based on, that was another one that the designer Laredo Sabers, that for him that was kind of like something he had wanted to make for like a really long time.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm just catching a glimpse of a comment here where it's like, did Shane just ask the 3D community if they knew anything about CAD? Yeah, sorry. That was I should have known better.
Well, that's actually a really good segue. You have like I think at least 3 printers behind you. You said you paused them for the show.
Yeah, they're not running right now because they sometimes make a lot of noise. I've got 2 behind me. I've got 1 here on the next to me on the floor. But usually those things are running all day.
And you print hilts, you print parts, that kind of thing.
So the main thing that the 3D printers do is they print the chassis, and the chassis is essentially I'll actually take one out of a hilt right here. And for every hilt design, you know, you need something to hold the electronics, just like your flagship. You know, sometimes it's 3D printed, sometimes it comes from Shapeways. So I'm just kind of pulling out the chassis here.
Oh yeah.
So and just like the cores, like the common thing these days is like a fully removable chassis. So this shell is all 3D printed. So this would be an example of what, you know, these printers are doing. These are printing our chassis to hold our electronics. You got your batteries, you got your soundboards, all the little parts. And again, this is all designed. I have the same guy who designs a lot of my hilts. He's designing these chassis because they're very particular. They gotta match all the dimensions, and it's not easy. And that's why I ultimately passed. I found someone to do that for me because I kind of suck at it. I'm not the best. It's hard, but yeah, those printers, they run all day. Can never have enough 3D printed parts. We make stands, all kinds of little accessories. But
Nice.
3D printing has really taken off in the last few years.
Yeah, for a lot of things. But
for everything.
What type of filament do you use? Is it PLA? Is it PETG?
Yeah, PLA, actually PLA plus.
Okay.
So I used to use PLA. The plus is just sturdier, so things don't break. Obviously, that's a big deal when you're putting it in saber. You don't want things to break, but I know guys. They do resin printing. None of us are on the level of Shapeways, but I mean there's basically metal. They print things in metal, so there's some pretty insane other chassis designs out there. If anyone ever starts going down that hole.
I went rebel and I printed mine sideways just to see what it would do instead of straight up and down. And while it wasn't terrible, it wasn't great. I can tell you all of the insides that can spaces are great. The outside not so much.
Right.
But that's because because it's round, I had to use the supports, and it was not. It worked, and as soon as it gets put in this, I don't expect to take it out ever, except for swapping the battery in this one. Chris and I need to get together because it's like we talked about. It's still being silly where it'll light up. It'll light up here, and it's fine. I drop a blade in after making the blade, it doesn't do anything. So and that's probably something really stupid. We've both been so busy, we haven't got together on it, and Master Chief is taking over the universe, and we can't slow him down because just get on stage, on all the big stuff. Looking at my lightsaber here, so it's the Blade M. I don't know what that means, but Rebel Dottie, but it's so cool. I mean, what's so cool is you could jump on Saberbay. The link should be in the description below for everything you have of the video. But you can jump on. I can say, hey, I want this. I want the chassis to go with it. I want a blade. And I haven't really shown that. And something I really want to show before we get to some hot makes today is you make everything from the kits for the blades all the way up to the fully installed blades. 100%. Get a fully installed one, walk away. Because
especially if you I mean, time saver, stress saver.
Oh my god, it was the worst part of the install ever, hands down. And he warned me. He's like, this is gonna suck. But so this is kind of what the blades look like, right? They're acrylic or they're polycarbonate.
Polycarbonate. Most common size, it's like a 1-inch blade. Sometimes they're 7/8. And you're right. It's not fun. Making blades is not fun. You got your foam.
Yep, and then, foam insert, and then
you gotta imagine trying to fit a couple strips of LEDs and LED strips in there. Me personally, I trim them down. I make them skinnier so that they slide in better. But I have made so many blades over the year. I've probably made like 700 blades in the last couple of years.
It sucks. So you put two of these back to back, so you have even coverage, and then you have to slide that in to a small piece of foam. And I'm telling you, go back and watch my third install video. It's worth buying it. Now, a friend of mine, his name is Steve. If you watch those videos, you'll hear me excuse me, I'm throwing stuff at Steve a lot in the third video. Here you go. He says, I hate making blades. I send my customers to Shane because he's the best in the industry. You should have told me. No, I got to make one. I got to make one.
Yeah, everyone needs to make at least one.
But he actually bought a pixel stick, and it was like it was the same thing, both sides of pixels, but it was on like a board, right? And he's just like, hey, watch this. I'm like, you son of a gun. I mean,
so those and that's another cool thing, kind of advancement that we have in the industry. So KR Sabers came out with this, he called it the pixel strip, I think,
something like that. Yeah,
and it's literally like a PCB board. It's long, it's got all the LEDs, it's already back to back, and I sell blades pre-made that use those, and I mean, I don't mind making those because you're skipping all the hard stuff. You don't have to put them back to back. You don't have to shove them in, and because they're already skinny, it's just those are pretty popular as well. I mean, and they're stupid bright. It's just it was the first time that we kind of saw like an LED strip made specifically, for lightsabers.
For lightsabers. And so this is something, looks like you're out of stock currently, but NeoPixel
technically, like I have the stock to do them. What I don't have is the time, and that's the only reason. So that is my only disclaimer. I have been just so busy.
Sure.
And they are kind of time consuming. I think for me, each one takes maybe 30 or 40 minutes.
Got it.
So it's just one of those things, like, as I kind of get caught up, and there's just been so much going on. I'll get back to offering them, and because I know people were kind of bummed that they weren't available, but I just
So this is that pixel strip one. Looks like the pixel strip thin walled, and I mean, and there's two different. There's like a thick wall and a thin wall, right?
Mm-hmm. A couple different blade materials.
I'm assuming the thicker, if you're going to do any sort of like sparring battle or anything, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, technically, and I mean, no one would know this unless you were in like the industry. Yeah. You can duel. Like, there's this kind of common misconception, like, oh, you can't fight with your NeoPixel. Nowadays, I mean, things are made pretty sturdy. So the blade material, like the thin wall, thick wall, one's a little bit heavier, obviously. But yeah, it's supposed to be a little bit more durable. But really the rule of thumb, if you're going to duel, I guess against someone else, just make sure you both have the same blade. That's really pretty much it. So
against someone else, I love that you had to throw that in there, by the way. If you're going to duel against someone else, not just
you never know. I've seen some people outside beating up on a tree, or
right. Well,
out on younglings.
Like me, I'd be running around like, so here, real quick, I gotta do it because we were talking about it. This is kind of like a Star Wars Fencing World Championship here. So these are actually people using, essentially built lightsabers like we're talking about, and like full on dueling. I mean, they're hitting those pretty hard. Yeah,
usually you put disclaimers like, do not try this at home.
Yeah, don't do this.
This is how people just hit themselves in the head. I don't try to twirl with my stuff because I'm uncoordinated, but
it's super cool to watch. And there's some really cool YouTube channels out there that teach you if you want to learn, but don't hurt yourself. We're not telling you to do that. And if you do, film it so we can watch. The clashes are edited though. Let's see. They're always baselit sabers, not NeoPixel. Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, that video. God, I mean, I've seen that video a bunch of times. It's been around for a while, but it's always super cool to watch.
Yeah.
But you could do some of that same stuff with NeoPixel. Just apparently no one has made as awesome of a video yet doing the same thing.
Right.
But
we always show a few things during the episode, and it looks like we have a few minutes left. We call it Hot Makes. We're going to go through, just a few things that the community's doing and check that out. Do you want to check them out with us?
Oh, yes, of course.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to challenge Master Chief to a lightsaber duel, and you have to wear your full suit. And then it might be fair. What we got here is John over at Tripod's Garage working with the Commaker 20-watt fiber laser. He was doing some testing on it. Really, the whole reason why I wanted to show this, there's a couple reasons. For one, the coin is phenomenal, by the way. Hey, speaking of John, and he shows up. There you go. But the noise this thing makes, I want to make sure. Hopefully, you guys can hear this.
Oh yeah,
can you hear that? Kinda, maybe. I hope so.
That is so cool.
So this is done with a fiber laser, and for one, I love where the red, the marker dot in the center there is right on his eyeball, or the eye of his mask there. But the noise. Can you hear the noise?
I know I can hear it.
You can hear it. Okay, I hope you guys can hear the noise, because the noise is just crazy on these things. I love listening to them, and I kind of took two of his posts because he showed the video. That's what we just kind of watched, but there you go. You kind of got another coin here. And there's
that side. Is that on metal?
So this is a brass blank, like a coin blank.
Oh wow!
And you fiber the fiber lasers are specifically awesome on metal, and they etch away the material, and you can make your own coins and stuff.
I used to have a laser, but not powerful enough to do metal. So that's really awesome.
There's kind of a quick, let's see. There you go. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know Tripod is in the garage, or in the garage. I was gonna say Tripod's in the garage. Tripod is in the chat. This is that's real time, right? They're stupid fast. They really are. And let's see if I can pop this one open. I think
that's sweet. I need one.
Yeah, he's showing the depth, and it's so good.
I need it.
we could hook you up with Tripod there. I know those blanks aren't the cheapest things, but they're so cool to be able to make your own coins.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what it is. Not real time. Look at the clock next to his time lapse. Got it. I didn't look at the clock. I was too I see it now. Yeah. I was too mesmerized by the what was happening to see that there's a clock right there. Yeah. Did you fall over, John? Is this why the clock's upside down? You were filming this from the floor, or no? I love it. Next up, Sophia Lynn, HotMakes, my Halloween costume for this year. Gotta love the 3D printed Loki crown. I mean, there you go. Not much we can say. That these things are all over. That print looks awesome, though.
Yeah, that's huge.
Very clean too.
Yeah, that's nice.
What else do we got here? Fix 'em, dude. Introducing the X-Wing fighter, the new Star Wars Halloween vampire themed X-Wing model. It's on printables. He has an amazing set of models. I think it was the pie fighter. It was a pumpkin with it's so good. We showed that last week or the week before, but this is really cool. Nice work. Fix 'em, dude.
That's so cool.
I love the coffees here, and
I was wondering, are those pumpkin spice lattes?
Yeah, I think he's with us. It was so fast. Yes. Let's see. Love the Loki. Fix 'em, dude. Are they pumpkin spice? Like, do they like spill out, or is it blood in there? I mean, kind of. I love that. Nero 3D. Taylor's an awesome guy. Almost to the end. Somehow I forgot the left arm gauntlet completely, so he has to finish that. But the legs are all weathered and wrapped on the stream. He live streams a lot. And let's see, let's pop this open. There you go. Very cool.
Wow. That's a full on suit.
Yes.
Wow.
There we go.
That's 3D printed.
3D printed.
Oh my gosh.
Well, most of it.
Yeah. That's so much work. That's insane.
So much work. And by the way, before I forget, I don't want to forget. Yes, they're pumpkin spice lattes. I love it. Here you go. I made one of these Loki crowns for the cat who's named Loki. So good. Yeah, but 3D printed. The suit looks awesome and weathering looks great.
That's impressive.
Man. Very cool. Love it. All right, Liz. We were just talking about this earlier. Abby Math was with us, and I'm hoping she still is, not sure. But happy to pay it forward. So glad that HotMakes was able to feature the yellow ribbon 3D prints. So Liz, actually, she won a roll of the Polymaker Yellow a couple weeks ago. She donated it to this maker. And there you go. A huge thanks to Liz and Polymaker. Now they have the yellow to get the first batch of the yellow ribbon 3D prints. So this is a really cool project. If you haven't seen this, I'll make sure to get the links either in this one or go back 2 weeks to episode 121. And you can find all the information. We're going to have Abby on soon, but this is to spread positivity. There's a ton of backing behind this as far as like the first 100 people or first 500 people, I think, or something. That's awesome. to show that they made them and tag. There's people like donating and matching, and it's such a cool it's just really such a cool thing for the community. So let's see.
Love that.
Oh yeah. There you go. Max just shared what's coming off his belt printer. So many keychains. Yes, I should fire mine up. I got rid of one of them recently, but I still have one. All right. The real Sam Prentice, he says when he's not finger painting, he's reviewing desks. So I reviewed a desk, got a lot of flack for it. And apparently last week he considered that finger painting. We were pouring acrylic paints on the show here. And I got to say, Caleb, actually, this is one of the new Edge shirts. Last week during the stream, I had the Edge of Desk shirt on because the desk thing became so funny. But these stickers really do look awesome. Sam, I hope you love them. And there's some other stuff that Sam got. But I have my stickers here. I got them from Caleb, and Sarah made them.
Sweet.
There you go. And so if you want to check those out, there's also a description there's a link in the description. All handmade. Caleb and Sarah do that on their free time. And I got to say, this shirt, one of the new shirts, this rivals the Slice Engineering softness. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. This is one of the softest t-shirts I have. And
I love a soft shirt.
Oh, yes, they're so good. It's now on printables. Awesome, Abby says. Oh, very cool. So let's keep going. But let's see, what else do we got? Oh, this was awesome. Resin 3D printed, fully metal coated.
Oh.
Let me just pop this back up. Copper, nickel. Is that palladium? Palladium? It's got to be. Maybe. Yeah. Gold. It's all there. I suck at pronouncing stuff, but they're electroplated. So there's a before and after.
Hondaru. Shards of Narsil.
So
I love you some Lord of the Rings.
Right? I bet you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause that sound because I know we're going to get hit if I play that. There you go.
Wow. Electroplating. It's awesome.
It looks so good. I would never guess that was 3D printed.
Right? Yeah.
You got yours too. Awesome. I love it. And again, never would have guessed that this was 3D printed.
I didn't even know that you could do that with resin prints. That's a pretty cool thing about printing that I didn't even know about. I might have to actually look into that.
Right. I got my Elgu Jupiter. I pre-ordered one. I got it I don't know, a couple months ago now. Finally, I still haven't used it.
Mm.
So it's so big. I could easily come up with parts like this too. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, metal printed. They're expensive. They are very expensive. So seeing that just kind of put a whole bunch of ideas in my head. I was like, man,
Right.
that would be awesome to not have to
Good
spend the
night,
money on
Fotis.
actual metal.
Thanks for being here, Fotis. Good night. That is a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if it didn't add too much thickness,
Right.
you could probably make the chassis thinner,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, if you could still get the stuff in them.
Right.
And then do that, and you could have like some really cool, like breakaway piece panels.
Right.
You know, say maybe you wanted battle damage, and it was like cut open here.
Yeah.
And then underneath it, you can still see the metal in the chassis. That would be super cool.
Yeah. I mean, even just with hilts, like they made the hilt and they made it look like metal. There's so many things. So
I wonder if it would really be that much more economical than having, you know, this made to go through the full process of resin printing and then electroplating.
Well,
You know what I mean?
if you're just making one, then yes. And if you don't
That's true.
mind it just looking pretty and you're not intending to like fight with
Use
it.
it.
Yeah, because
it's a showpiece.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, if you want to make something out of real metal and aluminum, if you want to just make one-offs they're so expensive.
Yeah.
So
unless you do it like Adam Savage we talked about earlier. I mean, he just like, I want to grab this and I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna throw it on my lathe.
Yeah,
and it's like
we all have lathes just laying around.
I know. All right. Last but not least, I know we're a little over, so I'm gonna get rolling. Steven at Lightspeed, I just saw you pop in and say what's up. This is a gingerbread puppet master, and it's kind of like puppeting all the miniature gingerbreads he has here. It's articulating gingerbread men with filamentum vertigo brown, maybe the most unique and amazing color. He says the white is Ziltech silk, the tie is gold happens by filamentum as well, and it's all printed on a VCore 3500, which is a huge printer, by the way. He actually tagged a couple of these, and one was the smaller version of all these guys. Why did it not do that? There we go. And the other one was this picture, and I love this picture. But he did a bunch of these gingerbread men in or gingerbread men, people, whatever you want to call them out there, in different like faces. Like it's hilarious. So go check that out if you get time. I believe they're on his Etsy store. I think you sell the files. Am I right, Steven? Let me know. Oh, Cults or Patreon. Got it. I don't know why I thought Etsy there, but so nice work on that. I love the gingerbread. It's such a fun.
Those are all really cool.
Thing.
That was awesome.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you could hang out with that. One last thing before we go. I know we're running late, everybody. A couple quick things. Next week we have Aaron from Galactic Armory here, and it's similar but not the same. So come check that out. The 21st. We have David Hewlett rescheduled from a couple weeks ago when he got the COVID. So he'll be back. If you've not seen Cabinet of Curiosities episode 2, you need to check that out before the 21st, which is 2 weeks from now. David is the star of that episode, and it'll be a lot of fun to talk to him about that. And if you've seen Stargate or any of the other stuff he's done. He's such a cool guy. Not only that, he's so into the community and 3D printing and doing just so much cool stuff for the community. And he's he's going to come back and talk to us. The 28th, Walter Welsh, Waltimus Prime will be back with us. We promise we have the the time zone thing down this time. I promise. And we have some more fun stuff going on in December. So stick around, come back and see us. We appreciate. Is that the rat one? Yes. Chris just said, is that the rat one? Episode 2 is the rat one, and that is David Hewlett. So go check that out. It is definitely homework to watch that before the 21st, because we're gonna have some fun with that on him on that. I might even we might have to see if we can get Guillermo on here. That would be just crazy. If you watch the show, he's the kind of the narrator, the host, we'll say, and he's done a lot of cool stuff. I think it's Guillermo del Toro is his name. Any discount codes for a lightsaber? Ooh, that there's a question. He says no.
No, I definitely. So if you want, if you were watching the stream, just send me a message. The contact email should be on the website. Just send me an email, say like, hey, watch your show or watch the stream, and then I'll hook you up with something. Also, Black Friday is around the corner, and there's all kinds of stuff. Always deals. We always do all kinds of stuff.
Nice
for Black Friday. But yeah, if you guys watch this,
I'm gonna be broke.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be broke. I was hoping that Volts of Valhalla would do a Black Friday deal, but he's booked for the next 17 years. That's these shrouds. Those are from him. The actually, I think, did this come from you? This hilt?
No, that's the flagship is from KR Sabers. But yeah, I know Vault of Valhalla, he kind of came up with the shroud, custom shroud designs, just because he does so much work on them. Yeah, that's all him.
I thought maybe Chris was saying that he got the hilts from you. You had them laying around or something. I think it was somebody. Yeah, it was somebody. But anyways, hang out right there. We'll be right back with you. Everybody else, we will see you next week. I'm looking for my outro. Usually Gary does this. We will see you guys next week, 6 p.m. right here on Hot Makes. Shane, thank you so much. One more time before we go, give us the elevator pitch, who you are, what you do, and most of all, where can we find you?
All right. So appreciate everyone for watching. My name's Shane. I have been in the saber industry for several years. I have a ton of experience. I know pretty much everything from A to Z, from making sabers to, how to build them. But also, if you're just mainly interested in to get into the hobby, Saberbay is a great place to start. Have everything from entry level to kind of higher end collectibles. My email is always open. I get messages all the time from how to do stuff and tips and tricks. But yeah, I'd love to help you guys out. I'd love to hook you up with your first saber. So appreciate it also, Jay, for having me on the show. Great opportunity.
No problem, man. I appreciate it. Hang out right there. I'll be back with you. Everybody else, we will see you guys later. If I can remember where all the buttons were. See you later, everybody. Have a good night. Got to pop back in. Steven said 66 cents on Colts. You get all the ginger red people for the next 2 hours. Hit him up on Colts. See you guys.